with Dr. Sheetal Meshram, where she is going to talk about not only the external liberation, but how to get into the internal liberation as women. And it's not only just for women, it is for all humankind. So Dr. Sheetal Meshram is going to talk about meditate, how, why, and when. Before that, I would like to introduce Dr. Sheetal Meshram. She is internal medicine physician by profession. She is actively engaged in various social and Dhamma activities. She provides mentorship to the medical student for studying in USA. She has conducted various seminars for guiding students on platforms like a Digital Nalanda, GEN, and Liberty classes. She holds diploma in Pali and diploma in Pali grammar and several Pali certificate courses. She pursues to learn Pali language, read Pali canon, Atthakatha, and dedicatedly spreading Buddhism. She has learned Abhidhamma from Bhante Kushala from Myanmar. From past 3 years, Dr. Sheetal actively engaged in organizing and facilitating a series online Dhamma Desana session by inviting various distinguished monks, nuns, and lay scholars for all over the world. Currently, Dr. Sheetal is learning theory and practice under the guidance of Bhante Vimalvansa from Sri Lanka. I invite Dr. Sheetal to start her session.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. The special talk today on occasion of International Women's Day. To begin with my talk, I will venerate the supremely enlightened Buddha and pay my veneration to the foremost Bhikkhuni, Mahapajapati Gautami, who is senior most in order of Bhikkhunis. I pay my veneration to Bhikkhuni Khema Theri, who is foremost Bhikkhuni in profound knowledge, and all the Bhikkhunis of the Buddha's dispensation. So today we're going to talk about meditation or meditate. Why, how, and when. So before we deep dive into our topic for the today, I want to share my journey. So I grew up in a staunch Ambedkarite family in Nagpur. In our house, we never had any other Devi, Devtas, and all that idols, as you can see in some of the community, our community's houses. So my parents, we had only Baba Sahib's teachings and Buddha's teachings in our house, and they were Bhikkhu and Bhikkhunis are coming to our house. We were doing parittas, reciting Tisarana Panchashil, but never knew what is the real meaning of that. We were just cramming those gathas, reciting those, although we knew by heart some of the gathas and the Panchashil, but didn't know the exact meaning of that. That is our fault that we never dared to ask the bhikkhus or the bhikkhunis who were coming to our house. But and the most shocking thing, going back, what I realized that we never knew what is the essence of Buddhism, what is the goal as a Buddhist should be. We never knew about those terms, never heard about like what is Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhat, and never asked. So that is our fault as although we were calling ourselves a Buddhist very proudly, we're calling ourselves Ambedkarite, but never had that kind of quest. We were going back. Now I think what we have done as a childhood or growing up, just replacing those Hindu gods and replacing with Buddha, not knowing what is the essence of Buddhism and what Buddha is trying to teach us, and what it takes to be a true Buddhist. As we grew, got education and came to US, then like settled in our our householder's life and started to earn money. And then somehow that quest began to search, like, okay, by reading and a discussion with different monks and monastics in the community. And those, when they started coming to our house, we had long discussions and we were very, very shocked to come to know, oh, how come we never know? We were calling ourselves Buddhist, but like as a Buddhist, our goal should be to achieve Nibbana. We didn't know that. What is Nibbana? And how strictly we should be following the 5 precepts, Panchashila, although we knew all the Shila, but how those should be followed, what it takes to follow them. Never knew that. So that quest began, and as we came to know, like all the Tipitaka is in Pali. We didn't know Pali. I didn't know Pali, so started to look to learn Pali, but at that time there was nothing available online. And this is, I'm talking about like in 2015, 2014, kind of 2013, 14 period. So somehow we got a very excellent chance of learning the basic Buddhism from other students from Mumbai University, and then got some better understanding of that. Still, that quest to learn the Tipitaka itself in Buddha's own language, Pali, that wasn't getting fulfilled. And then that period came when COVID hit all over the world and people started using more online modes of communication and learning. Then I got a chance to learn Pali, started learning Pali, and also at that time I could do my diplomas in Pali and Pali grammar. So then reading Tipitaka, but this was just the theoretical part, right? But side by side, we started. Why I'm saying we all the time, because this is just not my journey alone. This is as my husband and we both are, looking into getting into the deeper dive of those theory and practical aspects, as for this journey. So we looked around. Did many popular methods, which is currently popular all over the world, right? Those kind of meditation techniques we did, anapanasati, so-called vipassana. We somehow came to know, like, okay, there's some metta meditation as well. We started doing that and traveled wherever we found out, like there is some learned person who is teaching this kind of theory or practice. We just we went there from different parts of the India, different parts of the world, like Japan, UK, Bangladesh. So there was some loopholes in the sense that our the theoretical knowledge, what we were acquiring, was not somehow fitting with the practice. There was no like the whole answer to that, like, okay, what is the correct way, or what is the exact way to go to Nibbana. So then that journey continued to look further. And then we got a chance as well to learn Abhidhamma from Bhante Kusala in Myanmar. And that was the excellent opportunity and very rare opportunity to learn from such a learned monk in Abhidhamma. So that made things very clear in the sense, like some of the things which wouldn't have make sense started making sense. And then the best part came that we found our teacher, Bhante Vimalavamsa, who not only taught us the theory and practice, and currently we are practicing under his guidance, then this whole journey, this quest, then started, okay, this is the theory, which is exactly matching to the practice. My teacher says, Bhante Vimalavamsa says, the practice and theory is not two different things. It is exactly the same. When you do practice, when you actually put your everything in practice, when you meditate, then Buddha has given very clear instructions. Whatever the instructions for practice exactly comes in the theory, so that should match. And that loophole that came towards an end. So I'm just gonna talk about like what our learning process is, what is the theory and what the practice, what we have to do to achieve that ultimate goal of everyone who should, I mean, whether you call yourself a Buddhist or not, everyone should have the only one goal, to go to Nibbana. So why? As I said, why that question, right? That why we should meditate. So as our beloved Baba Sahib said, very famous quote, right? For Baba Sahib, cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence. So we have heard this quote so many times. I heard this when I didn't know any Dhamma, didn't understand anything. So what Baba Sahib is trying to tell us, like what is the cultivation of mind? So according to Tipitaka Natthakatha, according to the Pali Canon and commentary, what is cultivation of mind? It's a purification of mind. Chitta Visuddhi. There are 7 Visuddhis, there are 7 purification taught by the Buddha. So Chitta Visuddhi, like Chitta is mind, consciousness, right? Visuddhi is purification. So Baba Sahib is telling us to purify our mind. Okay, so what is, and the further definition that comes in the Pali Canon and Atthakatha is Vachara Samadhi, Appana Samadhi Cheti, Duvidopi Samadhi Chitta Visuddhi Nama. That's the explanation. So only 2 Samadhi, right? Upachara Samadhi, which is access concentration, and Appana Samadhi, which is a jhana concentration or absorption concentration, are considered in Chitta Visuddhi. So Baba Sahib is like referring us to look and develop our mind to that level, to develop that concentration, to purify our mind. What is Upachara Samadhi? How to achieve that? What is Appana Samadhi? Jhana concentration. So we'll learn about that in just a few moments. But can you directly go to develop this concentration or Samadhi? Cannot, right? Not directly. There are some prerequisites. So what Buddha's whole Dhamma is categorized under three trainings, which is called as Sikha, 3 training. So this is Sila Sikha, which is morality training, Samadhi Sikha, which is concentration training, and Panya Sikha, which is a wisdom training. So if a person says, I want to build a like 3-story or 3-tier pinnacle house, and I will directly build the top floor without putting the foundation. Is it possible? It's not, right? So that person has to first build that foundation. On that only, that foundation, he can build the further floors and the top tier, right? So same likewise, the morality training. So you cannot directly go to concentration training without developing the Sila Sikha or the morality training. And based on that morality, standing on that morality training, you develop your concentration. And that concentration, which is Samadhi, right? The Samadhi concentration or Samadhi or the concentration is a tool to develop your wisdom. And that makes the whole training. Everyone who walks on this path to Nibbana has to go through 3 training. You cannot skip any of those. So what is the Sila Sikha? What is a morality training? As a layman, we have to observe 5 Sila, Panchashila, right? And on occasional days, 8 Shila. Sometimes you can observe 9 Shila or 10 Sila, right? Bhikkhus have 227 and Bhikkhunis has 311 Vinay rules as laid by the Buddha, right? Samner and Samneri has 10. So those kind of Sila. So in your respective field, you have to develop that morality training. Standing on that, then you have to go for the concentration training and progressively to wisdom training. So this 3 training is nothing but the Arya Atthangika Magga or the 8-fold noble path that Buddha taught to achieve to that Nibbana. So it is not a different thing, right? This three training and Aryathangika Magga is the same thing. As you can see, Panya Sikha covers the two portions of the Aryathangika Magga, which is the right view and right thought. Samadhi Sikha, or the concentration training, has three aspects on it: right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And your Sila Sikha, your morality training, covers right speech, right action, right livelihood. So before we take a deeper look into all that, let's try to learn some very basic foundation to reach to that level to understand our topic for today. Okay, so there are true truth, or there are true realities, as we can say, satya in Pali. So true realities. So first is Samuddhi Satya, which is a conventional truth. हिंदी में जिसे हम व्यवहारिक सत्य कहते हैं, right? So Samuddhi Satya, व्यवहारिक सत्य, conventional truth. So when we talk to one another, like, okay, this is a man, this is woman, this is my mother, this is my son, all that, this is a mountain. So this is just a conventional truth. We are not telling lie when we say that this is my mother or father, right? And this is my car, this is my house. This is just to understand things while dealing with each other in society. But when one person becomes a Buddha, acquires that omniscient knowledge, sabandita jnana, he sees with his panya chakhu, right? This wisdom eye, that in reality, in the ultimate sense, paramatha satya, which is ultimate reality, nothing like a man, woman exists, because when he see a woman or man or a animal or a fish or a bird or a mountain, he sees only ultimate reality. What is that ultimate truth? What is that ultimate reality? So there are four ultimate reality, which is Chitta, Chetasika, Rupa, and Nibbana. So what is Chitta? So you can call it a consciousness or mind, and Chetasika, which are the mental concomitants, with the mental factors. So Chitta and Chetasika form one part of the what we call as a mind, right? In Pali, you call as a nama. So mind has two parts, Chitta and Chetasika. They arise together, both Chitta and Chetasika arise together. They have a common object. They arise together, they perish together, and they have a common object. And the third reality, ultimate reality, is Rupa, which we can call materiality or matter. And then fourth reality is Nibbana. So basically, you can say mind is one which has two components, and then the second one is matter and Nibbana. And then mind has two parts, so ultimately it comes out to four ultimate reality. That's what Buddha saw under the Bodhi tree when he acquired that Bodhi knowledge, that Four Noble Truths. Then he can see, like, okay, whether you call that a man or a human being, it has all this, it has only this part, right? Mind and matter. And when you call as an animal, they have also mind and matter. When you call say this is a tree, it has only matter, no mind. Okay, same with the mountain, it has only matter, no mind, right? So that's we have to understand, and with that basic understanding, we'll move forward to our next discussion. So Buddha acquired that sabandhuta jnana, or the omniscient knowledge, under the foot of the Bodhi tree. And see that what is the Bodhi? Bodhi is understanding the Four Noble Truth, right? The Four Noble Truth, the first Noble Truth is the Noble Truth of suffering, dukkharya satya. So what Buddha says, birth is suffering, aging is suffering, sickness, death, sorrow is suffering, lamentation is suffering, right? Pain, grief, despair, association with dislike is suffering, separation from what one likes is suffering, not getting what one desires is suffering. And that's the whole explanation of the First Noble Truth. But he says a very, very important thing. But in brief, like that's the whole explanation, right? Birth is suffering, and like until not getting what one desires, that's the whole explanation. But in brief, Panchopadana Khanda Dukkha, it means Buddha adds, Buddha says, like in brief, 5 clinging aggregates are the suffering. That is the suffering. And this noble truth has to be known, has to be discerned with your own direct knowledge. We are not talking about any theoretical things here. Of course, when you are learning this theory, then you have to know like what in practice actually we have to do. So this is very, very important. So that is the first noble truth of suffering. 5 clinging aggregates are suffering. We'll learn shortly what are the 5 clinging aggregates. What is the second noble truth of second noble truth? This noble truth of origin of suffering. So what Buddha says, ignorance, avidya, is the samudaya satya. Craving, tanha, is samudaya. Clinging, upadana, volitional formation, is sankhara, and the kammic power, the kamma sakti, the kammic potential. That makes that your whole samudaya. Samudaya is like, that is a mass, right? It's just not one thing. It's like a whole group, like your avidya, tanha, upadana, sankhara, and kamma sakti, the kammic potential. That you have to see. The whole Dhamma which Buddha taught is based on this cause and effect. So there's a cause, there's a the effect gonna come. If there's an effect, there has to be a cause. So what is the cause and what is the effect? So the first noble truth is the effect. Your 5 clinging aggregates are the effect. But what is the cause? The cause is the second noble truth. The second noble truth explains the cause, which is your ignorance, craving, clinging, volitional formation, and kamma sakti is the cause. That you have to see in your practice, in your meditation practice, and abandon this, because once you remove the cause, the effect will automatically remove. That's the Buddha's Dhamma. So that comes to the third noble truth, dukkha nirodha ariya satya, the noble truth of cessation of suffering, which one person sees the effect, find out the cause, removes the cause, the effect will be removed already, and they achieves the nibbana. And that nibbana has to be realized with one's own direct knowledge, right? That's the arahant path knowledge and fruition knowledge one person achieves. And what is the path to develop to get to that third noble truth? That is the fourth noble truth. The fourth noble truth is the noble truth of the path leading to cessation of suffering. So the noble eightfold path has to be developed to end this whole cycle of suffering, of the cause and effect. Cause and effect, which we have to break, one meditator or practitioner has to break to achieve the third noble truth, which is a nibbana. So, in short, Buddha says, Panchopadana Khanda, the 5 clinging aggregates, which is nothing but your mentality and materiality, nama and rupa, right? And the second noble truth, as I mentioned, 5 are the causes. This is the cause. These are the causes. Sorry. It's not just one single cause. These are the causes. That's why it's a samudaya, right? It's like a whole bundle of things, which is ignorance, avidya, craving, tanha, clinging, upadana. Volitional formation is your sankhara, and then kammic power, which is a kamma sakti, at a kammic potentiality. That is the samudaya. That's a cause. And the 5 aggregates is in our that is the effect. And the dukkha nirodha satya, that is the third noble truth, is a nibbana. And the fourth noble truth, which we have to develop, which is eightfold noble path, nothing but samatha and vipassana. So what is that 5 clinging aggregates? What are the 5 aggregates? As it mentioned, it's nothing but your mentality and materiality. It's nothing but mentality and materiality, nama and rupa. So we said pancha, 5, right? So there has to be 5 components to it. So first is your materiality aggregate, which is rupa khanda. Khanda is a group, right? It's not one thing. So rupa is the group of rupa, right? The group of materiality. That's why it's called as aggregate. So materiality aggregate. And there's a nama khanda. Nama is mentality aggregate. So Nama has 4 parts. Okay, Vedana Khanda, that is feeling aggregate. Second is Sanya Khanda, which is perception aggregate. Third is Sankhara Khanda, which is volitional formation aggregate. And fourth is Vijnana, is a consciousness aggregate. So that Nama and Rupa, mentality and materiality, nothing but these are the ultimate realities, what we saw, right, in the previous slide. Ultimate realities. So these ultimate realities, right, you have to, while you're practicing, you have to see with your own direct knowledge, not with theory, not with superficial knowledge. You have to see with experiential knowledge. So this is just a schematic diagram of what is the Panchakhanda, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Okay. So Nama, which is mentality, right? This has 2 parts, as we said, Chitta, which is the mind, consciousness. So there are 89 types of Chitta or 89 type of consciousness, right? And Chetasika, which is a mental factors, a mental concomitant, there are 52. They always go in hand. The Chitta and Chetasika, which is mind and mental factors, go hand in hand. It means they arise together, they perish together, and they have the same object, in the sense like if there's a wholesome consciousness arise, wholesome mental factors go along. If unwholesome consciousness arise, unwholesome chetasika goes together. Okay, we are not going into details because today's talk doesn't permit us to deep dive into that. We just briefly touching. It's very in details. People take their whole life to understand this Abhidhamma, right? So it's not possible to cover everything. So briefly touching upon like what the level of understanding we should have to understand this Dhamma. So at this level, we just have to understand there's a chitta, 89 chitta, which is 89 consciousness and 52 mental factors. So this is just a schematic diagram, right? How many chittas are there and which plane of existence, how this 89 are subdivided, right? Unwholesome, wholesome, and then like mundane and supramundane. So we're not going to spend any time here. And this is a just the slides explain the 52 mental factors. Okay, some are common to whether wholesome or unwholesome consciousness, which go along with that consciousness, and some are unwholesome mental factors, and there are 25 sobhana, which is wholesome or beautiful mental factors. So depending on what kind of chitta arises, right, those wholesome or unwholesome chetasikas goes along, and some are common to all. Now, as we said, not only the chitta and chetasika are ultimate realities, but rupa, their materiality. So Buddha explained 28 types of materiality. So among that, the 4 are the great, concrete, great essential, the Mahabhuta, like your earth element, water element, fire element, and wind element. So those are the 4 great essentials, and 24 are the derived materiality. So in total, there are 28 types of materiality. So materiality is the ultimate, right? We are not talking about this gross body, that ultimate minute level, which Buddha can see that this is a subatomic particles. Every subatomic particle is made up of these 28. This materiality includes all this 28, right? Now, with that understanding, now the question comes like how we will meditate, how we have to go forward. So there are 2 types of meditators. There are 2 types of vipassana meditators, insight meditators. So the one is the vipassana yanika. Yanika is like a vehicle, right? You have to take that vehicle to reach to nibbana. That's sure. So vipassana yanika, it just simply means that vipassana yanika, if he's a pure insight meditator or sukha vipassaka, he doesn't practice any jhana. And the second type of meditator, which is a samatha yanika, samatha is like shamat, right? Shaman karna is a jhana meditator, which produces jhana first and then practices vipassana. But does it really mean that the first type of meditator, the vipassana yanika, doesn't have to, can directly go to vipassana? Just remember our first slide when we talked, like there are three trainings, right? Three sikha. So none of the steps you can skip. Everybody has to go to this, the morality training, concentration training, and the panya section, the vipassana section, right? The panya or wisdom training. So the vipassana yanika, they are not practicing jhana. So the basic the differentiation between these two meditators are, first is vipassana yanika, which doesn't practice jhana, but the second person or the second practitioner, samatha yanika, practices jhana. That's the only difference. So what does vipassana yanika do? So before that, this concentration. What is samadhi means, or what is jhana means, right? Samadhi is nothing but the concentrated mind, right? The concentration, one-pointedness of your mind. So there are two types of samadhi, as we discussed like in the previous one. Excess concentration, which is upachara samadhi, or absorption concentration, which is jhana concentration, right? So jhana, some people think that acquiring some supernatural power or supernormal things, that's not truth. Jhana just means a deep concentration. So samadhi is nothing but a tool, right? Like if we want to see like any microscopic organism, we need that microscope to look at that. Same, jhana is like a tool, or samadhi is a tool to reach to that, so that when we need to see those ultimate realities, that is a tool of samadhi with which you can see those ultimate realities of nama and rupa, ultimate realities of mentality and materiality. So Buddha gave us these 40 objects of meditation. 40 objects of meditation. So what are these? So these objects, on taking those objects, either you can go to upachara samadhi or appana samadhi. So upachara samadhi is access concentration, or appana samadhi is jhana concentration. So you can develop, and these are the objects, right? You need some object to develop your concentration, right? So what are these 10 objects? So those are 10 kasina, there are 10 kasina meditation, 10 foulness meditation, 10 recollection meditation, 4 sublime abidings, which is 4 Brahma Vihara, 4 immaterial meditation, 1 perception meditation, and the last one is a 4-element meditation. So as we said here in this slide, what is the vipassana yanika doing? Doesn't he need samadhi to develop the concentration, right? On basis of which he'll go to the panya section, right? The panya training. Yes, of course. So that vipassana yanika has to develop samadhi taking the 4-element meditation. So he develops that upachara concentration on taking this 4-element meditation and develops concentration, and then goes to do the vipassana, right? But the samathayanika, our samathayanika meditator will take these objects from this 40 meditation objects, develop jhana first, and then go to do the vipassana. So this is a basic differentiation between the two. So let's see one by one, right? So the 10 among the 10 kasinas, right? We said there are 10 kasinas. In that 10 kasinas, so we have the 4 great elements, right? The earth, water, fire, wind. You can take that as an object to develop your kasina meditation, right? And then there are some color kasinas, right? The blue, yellow, red, white, then light kasina, and the space. So in total, so these kasinas will take you to up to 4th jhana. From 1st jhana, 2nd jhana, 3rd jhana, and 4th jhana. So you will get that kind of samadhi. That is a jhana. And then the 10 foulness meditation. So this is kind of a repulsive meditation, right? You are looking at various dead bodies in their different stages. So some is swollen dead body, discolored dead body, things like that. So this dead body medication or the foulness medication takes you up to first jhana only, but it takes you up to a jhana. So you develop that concentration up to first jhana. And then there are 10 recollection meditation. You it's a Buddhanusati, Dhammanusati, Sanghanusati, Silanusati, Devtanusati, right? Chaganusati, generosity. So here's a recollection of the qualities of the Buddha, recollection of the qualities of the Dhamma, meditation on the recollection of the qualities of the Sangha, and the meditation on the qualities of recollection on the qualities of your morality and your generosity and devta and recollection of your death and the upasamanusati. So from buddhanusati to upasamanusati, you develop upachara concentration only. You cannot go to jhana by doing buddhanusati, dhammanusati, sanghanusati, and so on until upasamanusati. But the popular method nowadays, anapanasati, it is also a recollection meditation, right? So anapanasati takes you from it takes you to develop jhana from first jhana, second jhana, third jhana up to fourth jhana. And the another meditation in this recollection meditation is kayagata sati, the 32 body parts, the contemplation on the 32 parts of your body, which takes you up to first jhana. And then there are 4 Brahmavihara, sublime abidings, which is Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha, loving kindness meditation, compassion meditation, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. So Metta, Karuna, Mudita, so loving kindness meditation, compassion meditation, and sympathetic joy meditation takes you up to third jhana from first, second, third. And once you develop third jhana, taking either Metta, Karuna, or Mudita, then you have to develop that equanimity meditation, upekha, which takes you to fourth jhana. If you can say, okay, I will not do Metta, Karuna, Mudita or Mudita and directly do upekha, that is not possible, right? You have to go stepwise fashion. You have to develop first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, taking either Metta, Karuna, or Mudita, and then develop upekha and achieve fourth jhana. So these are the 4 Brahma Viharas. And then comes to the 4 immaterial jhana. So that is 5th jhana, 6th jhana, 7th jhana, and 8th jhana. And the prerequisite for these jhanas, you have to take kasina meditation first, develop up to 4th jhana. Like if you say, okay, I'll do anapanasati meditation and achieve 4th jhana and then go to do this immaterial jhana, that's not possible because that's a totally different object, right? We are talking about only on the basis of kasina meditation's 4th jhana, then you develop 5th jhana, 6th jhana, 7th jhana, and 8th jhana. Okay. And then 2 more remaining, right? We discussed about 38 meditation. So 2 more remaining. So one is the 4 element meditation, right? And then the last one, the 40th object is repulsive meditation on repulsiveness of food. So both this 4 element meditation and the repulsiveness of food take you to upachara samadhi only. You don't go up to jhana. So that's how the Buddha explains. So some people nowadays says that jhana cannot be achieved nowadays. It's only up to at the time when Buddha is alive. But that is not true. Like if we know the Tipitaka, if we know the how when our Siddhartha Bodhisattva, when he was still a Bodhisattva, he hadn't achieved Buddhahood at that time. When he left the house, he renunciated. So he first went to Alar Kalam, who was a master in the 7th jhana. So the Bodhisattva, Siddhartha Bodhisattva, he learned that 7th jhana from Alar Kalam. Then he then he went to Uddakaram Buddha, who taught our Siddhartha Bodhisattva 8th jhana. So at that time, he wasn't a Buddha, but that practice was still there. People were achieving jhana. So when Buddha, so it's not true, right? That so this is completely false, right? It's a completely false statement that jhana cannot be achieved. Even when there is no Buddha, people do develop jhana. They do practice the jhana meditation, um, and they take the objects are only, not all the objects are available at that time. So when Buddha is not there, it means the Buddha's dispensation, right? Our Buddha's dispensation is still going on, right? So when the Buddha's dispensation is not there in the world, then people do practice jhana, they still strive, they get the samadhi concentration. So what are the objects available there at that time? So they practice this Metta Karuna Mudita Upekha meditation, so sublime abidings, four sublime abidings, and this Kasina meditation. So these Kasina and the four sublime abidings, people do practice, they get the concentration, they develop samadhi, but their goal might be different, because if there is no Buddha, nobody knows about the Nibbana. So their goal remains different from what Buddha tells, but the people do develop concentration, people do develop samadhi. So our Buddha's dispensation is still going on. So whoever practice can achieve jhana and can develop that access concentration or jhana concentration. So if you go, so what I mean to say, like Buddha gave us this 40 objects of meditation to develop samadhi. When Buddha arrives, then only they give this whole 40 objects. When Buddha is not there, when the Buddha's dispensation gone from the whole world, then people, they cannot practice this Anusati meditation. They cannot practice this 10 recollection meditation, because that whole meditation techniques or objects are gone. But when Buddha comes, he gives this whole 40 meditation objects. But when Buddha is not there, people still practice samadhi. They practice the Kasina meditation. They practice the four Brahma Vihara or four sublime abidings. So that's the thing I want to stress. So now is the Buddha's dispensation. Whoever practice can achieve jhana. And now we, as you can see from this slide, that the goal of this Anapanasati meditation is to take you to first to fourth jhana, right? It's like progressively. If you practice Anapanasati, the goal of Anapanasati is to take you to jhana. So you have to question yourself. The current meditation practice, if I'm practicing Anapanasati, is that taking me to jhana? Is that taking me to jhana, what Buddha said? Or is it taking me to somewhere else, which some practitioner told, but it's not taking me to anywhere? So remember, if you are not practicing in the way Buddha taught, we are not on the path to Nibbana. You may feel good, you may feel, okay, I'm doing something, but that is not conducive to Nibbana. That's very, very important. So as in the previous, we said that two types of practitioners. One is Vipassana Yanika, which is a pure insight meditator. He has to do 4-element meditation first to achieve that samadhi and then go to Vipassana. The Samatha Yanika, that is jhana practitioner or the tranquility meditation practitioner, what he does one extra step before going to 4-element meditation. He develops jhana, he develops that absorption concentration or access concentration, then he goes to the 4-element meditation and then develops vipassana and then goes to practice vipassana. So this Chatudhatu Vavatthana meditation or the Chatudhatu Bhavana or 4-element meditation is a common step for both of the Vipassana Yanika, a pure insight meditator, or the Samatha Yanika. You cannot escape from this step. You cannot skip this Chatudhatu, because that is ultimate reality, right? That is your rupa, your materiality. You have to discern that, or you have to develop this meditation, and then you can do Vipassana. What is Vipassana? So, to discern those 5 aggregates, remember we talk about Panchakhanda, Rupakhanda, and Rupakhanda, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, and Vijnana. So those Panchakhanda, we have to discern. The meditator has to discern with one's own direct knowledge and find out the causes. So discern the five khanda with one's own direct knowledge. That is the first noble truth. And find out the causes of those five aggregates is the second noble truth. Once only when the meditator fulfills this criteria to see and discern the five aggregates with his own direct knowledge and find out the causes of those five aggregates with his own direct knowledge, then only the person or the meditator is eligible for vipassana. What is vipassana? So this both mentality and materiality has a common characteristic. Both mentality and materiality, they have the common characteristic, which is they arise, stay for some time, and then pass away. Arise, stay for some time, and pass away. Very rapidly arising and rapidly, I mean, they don't even stop. But we feel like, okay, there are three phases in that: arising phase, standing phase, and perishing phase. But as soon as they arise, they pass away. That is the characteristic of both mentality and materiality. And because there is nothing which is staying there, not even for a moment, right? It arises, I mean, it arises momentarily. It momentarily arises and momentarily passes away. But because nothing is staying there permanently, it's impermanent. And that is a common characteristic for both mentality and materiality. That is what we call as anicca, impermanence. And because this phenomena of both mentality and materiality is just continuously arising and passing away, continuously arises and passes away, we want to hold on to that things, that feeling, that pleasure, whatever we want to hold on to, because that is not staying the same. And that whole phenomena of arising and passing away, itself is oppressing. And that's what Buddha is calling as a dukkha, as a suffering. And it's just a phenomena. There is nobody in that phenomena which you can call a woman, a man, an animal, nobody. And there is nobody who is bringing out this. Like there is no someone who is doing that. It's just a process of cause and effect. Cause and effect is just a process of arising, perishing away of both mentality and materiality. And that is the direct knowledge what Buddha sees, and sees there is nobody, there's no that's non-self phenomena, anatta. That is very unique in Buddha's teaching. That is the common characteristic we have to understand, and that is vipassana. We have to see for both mentality and materiality. So whoever wants to achieve that nibbana has to go through this 16 stages of vipassana knowledges. Insight knowledges, vipassana jnana. What are the 16 stages? First is nama rupa paricheda jnana. The name itself says nama, which is mentality, rupa is materiality, paricheda is discerning or defining that knowledge. It's not talking about anything. This is not about the theoretical knowledge. You have to discern this nama and rupa, this mentality and materiality with your own direct knowledge. And that is the first stage of your vipassana. Second one is, and that is the dukkha satya dhamma, right? That is the first noble truth. That's how you fulfill the first noble truth. The second one is, second vipassana knowledge, or the second insight knowledge is paccaya pariggaha jnana. Paccaya is the cause. As I said, the whole phenomena is cause and effect, nothing else. If there is a cause, the effect will come. If we remove the cause, the effect will not come. So you have to see the cause. My present mentality and materiality, they arised because of the cause. Where is the cause? And you have to go and look at that cause. Okay? And that fulfills your first noble truth and the second noble truth. And then you are dealing into these further knowledges one by one, looking at that whole mentality and materiality phenomena, arising and perishing phenomena, all that. And progressively you go through the 16 stages of vipassana knowledges, and fulfilling each and every step, you come to this stage of gotra bhunyana with change of lineage. What is the change of lineage? You go from a layman or a Puthujana, right, as a non-Arya people, to one who becomes the noble person, because all your defilements are like they are eradicated and you become a noble person. And that's the knowledge you have to acquire. So whoever who are striving on this path to become a Arya person has to go through the 16 Vipassana Jnana, one by one, and practice. So you have to question yourself. Is my meditation technique, what I'm doing currently, taking me to this level of looking at my materiality and mentality and the causes for my present mentality and materiality? Whatever meditation technique you are doing, you have to question yourself. If you are doing anapanasati, you have to question yourself. Oh, Buddha taught us that this anapanasati will take me progressively to fourth jhana, from first, second, third, fourth jhana. If I'm doing metta meditation, is my metta meditation is taking me, the loving kindness meditation is taking me to first, second, or third jhana? If I'm doing Buddhanusati, is that Buddhanusati is taking me to develop Upachara concentration or the access concentration? If not, then you have to question yourself. Whatever I'm getting that technique from my teacher, is this the correct path? Is that what Buddha taught? If not, ask yourself, ask your teacher, look at the Tipitaka, read it, see the instructions, everything is there in Tipitaka. Everything has been explained in the Pali Canon, in the commentaries, everything. So you have to question that. If not, this path is not conducive to Nibbana. If this whatever technique I'm being taught right now, if this is not what Buddha had taught, this is not going to take me to Nibbana. Of course, you will feel, it will make you feel good, right? Like it's a full feel-good effect, right? We are doing something, making ourselves, okay, I'm getting some peace of my mind temporarily and feeling good, right? But as a Buddhist, our goal should be to get to that ultimate goal of Nibbana. So we have to practice the same method or the same path which Buddha taught. And Buddha taught there is no other way. There's only one way. Ekaya no maggo. It says like there's only one way to go to Nibbana. There is no other way. There is no other path. There's a three trainings you have to fulfill. You have to see the ultimate materiality and mentality, find out the causes, right? When we have discussed in very, very superficial way today because of the time constraints, right, for today's meeting. We cannot discuss everything. Our teacher, Venerable Bhante Vimalavamsa, has been, this Dhamma is very profound, right? He has been teaching us only Mahasatipatthana Sutta from past 1.5 years. Just one sutta. It's very big. It just explains this whole path very clearly, very detailed. This Dhamma is very profound, very deep. So we cannot discuss everything. So the level of looking at that rupa, as I mentioned, there are 28 rupas. We have to see each rupa, like in there, what is the characteristic of the rupa? If we take the Pathvi Dhatu, what is the Pathvi Dhatu? What is the earth element? What is the characteristic? What's the function? Like you have to put that 4 defining devices to that each element. And what is the water element? What is the characteristic? What is the function? Okay, what is the proximate cause? What is the manifestation? So you have to put that criteria on the materiality. Same goes with the mentality. When you look at one chitta, you have to see that chitta. There's a mental cognitive process going on. So whenever a wholesome or unwholesome chitta arises or consciousness arises, the mental concomitant goes together with that. So you have to see that. See means really see as if seen by your own eye with that power of your samadhi or your concentration. So you have to see that how this mind works, how this cognitive process works. Whenever there's an unwholesome chitta arises, how the cognition flows. So you have to see that all the mental momentary arising of that mental process. Like if I'm seeing something with my eye, whenever that color impinges on my eye, that transparent element which is present in my eye, how this eye consciousness process arises, how I'm able to see and recognize what has been seen. So that whole mental cognitive process, you have to see not only for eye. We have six senses, right? Your eye door, your nose, your tongue, your ear, your body, and your mind. So all the six senses, there's some cognition process going on. So you have to see that cognition process on each door. Like if I have to discern my eye door, you have to discern all that cognition process in the eye door. If I want to discern that nose process of how when smell or odor impinges on that nose transparent element, how does nose consciousness arise and the whole process flows? So you have to see this. This is very minute what Buddha is expecting us to see. That is the wisdom, right? So that is very, very detailed, very profound kind of knowledge you have to acquire. That is the first vipassana knowledge, mentality, materiality definition knowledge. And if that is effect, that is your five aggregates, right, in the present life. So what is the cause? There has to be some cause. That's why your five present aggregate arises. What is the cause? So that's the second vipassana knowledge. You have to see, oh, because of my craving that existed in the past, because of my avijja, not knowing the Four Noble Truths. What is avijja? What is ignorance? Because craving cannot arise alone. There's a group of things, right? There's a group of phenomena which arises together. So you have to see that cause. So that's the level of meditation we have to go to reach up to Nibbana. There is no shortcuts. There is no other way to go. Buddha says there's only one way to go, ekaya no makko. Everybody has to go through all the 16 stages of vipassana, has to discern the Four Noble Truths with his own direct knowledge. So, and fulfill that Arivathangiko Makko to arrive at this stage. So now we have come to our last portion of our section of the topic, which is when. When should I meditate? There's a Dhammapad Gatha in Buddha Vagga. Kiccho manussapati labho, kiccang machana jivitang, kiccha saddhamma savanang, kiccho buddhano pado. Buddha is saying it's rare to be born as a human being. Those who are subject to death, it's rare for them to be alive for long. It's rare to hear good Dhamma. It's rare for the rising of the Buddha. We are very, very lucky. We are very lucky and we have so fortunate. Buddha's dispensation is going on. We have the Dhamma, the true teachings of the Buddha. We are born as a human being with all the faculties intact. And we are very, indeed, we are very fortunate to get a teacher like Bhante Vimalvansa who can teach us all the 40 objects of meditation, which only few teachers in the world at the current time can teach us. So now it's our responsibility to not to neglect and miss this very rare of the rare opportunity to learn and practice as per Buddha's instructions. I mean, we will find 100 different reasons not to meditate, but one reason is enough to start acting upon it and start meditating. As I mentioned previously several times, that as a true Buddhist, our goal should be to achieve Nibbana, to end from all the sufferings, this continuous repeated getting rebirths, getting repeated existence, to achieve all, to end all that suffering. Our goal should be to start meditating, and realize the Nibbana in this Buddha's dispensation. So do not miss this opportunity to take Kammatthana from Bhante or whoever the teacher are. There may be many teachers who are giving instructions as per Buddha's real teaching. So find those teachers, take the Kammatthana from them, start practicing and achieve that goal. If you want to get in contact with Bhante Vimalavansa to take your object of meditation, to take your Kammatthana, let me know. I can facilitate that and get you in contact with Bhante, start your practice, start meditating. So that's all I have to share today, and I'll stop here.
Sadhu, 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 Sheetal. Very eye-opening session. There is so many comments. They want to have another session from you, and that should be the series of the session. That's a good comments we are getting here. Yes, it is ultimate liberation should be our aim. And you have eye-opening session for all ANA members over here. Thank you so much for your time and your elaborated study about Dhamma. And of course, I won't be thankful enough to mentoring me on this path of liberation. And I'll open this call for question answer. Smita.
Hi, Sheetal. Hi, Kalpana. First of all, thank you so much for your presentation. And as Kalpana also mentioned earlier, Sheetal has been our mentor and guide to connect with Bhante Vimalvansa, and to practice meditation. And it's not been an easy journey, right? But we are practicing meditation in the proper way, but it's still not easy, Sheetal. So trying to understand what are I know you also do a lot of theory. What are the other things we can do so that we have better concentration, and we are reaching our goals sooner than later?
So thank you so much. And I'm not mentored in any ways, right? In any shape or form. I don't have that kind of expertise, I would say. I'm still a student, right, practicing. And everything I could share today is just because of the knowledge and wisdom shared by my teacher, Bhante Vimalavansa, and his teacher, Bhante Pauk Sayadaw. I mean, Bhante Vimalavansa always mentions, if Bhante Pauk is not in this world, nobody would know about the 4-element meditation, right? It is only few teachers, right? Because of only Pauk Bhante, we know about 4-element meditation. Even the word we heard this, like, okay, this is the meditation technique, 4-element meditation. We have to do. This is the must step for every practitioner because of Pauk Bhante. So every day when we meditate, first of all, we have to have that kind of a gratitude, right? Towards the Buddha, because if Buddha is not there, we cannot, even the word Dhamma or Buddha is also, I mean, that word to hear Buddha is like eons and eons pass and you don't even hear that word Buddha. So when Buddha is not there, there's no Dhamma, right? So we have to pay gratitude. That's a quality we have to develop each and every day. We have to pay our gratitude to Buddha, to Dhamma, and the Sangha who preserved this, right? If Buddha teaches and there is nobody to carry forward that lineage and that teachings up to us, it's been 2600 years, the pure Dhamma is still preserved. Although few are preserving that Dhamma, but there are the teachers in the lineage of with that Guru Shishya Parampara, right? They have preserved that in the pure, pristine form, and it has reached to us. To pay that gratitude in every single meditation session, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, to Bhante Pauk, our teacher, and then to our all the family members at our workplace, our co-work, our neighbors. Buddha appreciates that quality of that gratitude so much. He says very few people have that quality who can, think about like, okay, I owe this much to my teacher, to my parents, to my family, who are making me to practice and practice this Dhamma. So that's the quality. And so gratitude is very important. Same goes with the Saddha, right? We have to have faith. 10 things. We have to have the Saddha on Buddha, that there is a Buddha and there is a Dhamma. And when we achieve and practice that Dhamma, it's really gonna bring us to that realization, that Nibbana. And there is a Sangha who walked on this path, who achieved the exact same result what Buddha has achieved, right? Like as a disciple, what we can achieve, it's possible. And then we have to believe on karma and its effect. So karma theory, we have to put our faith on that. And so on, right? We have to have our duties, moral duties to our parents, to our society, to our whole family. So, those are the components of that. And as I said, in the part of 3 trainings, Sila is very important, right? It's not easy to even follow Panchashila. As I said, we grew up in the family, we were reciting Panchashila, didn't know. We were still, jokingly, we were telling lies. That is not acceptable. That's not what Buddha is saying. Even in jokes, we cannot tell lie. So that's the level of Panchashila we have to follow, right? So that level, and that's very hard, right? That's very hard. And we have to practice each and every day, right? We have to be very cautious because it's a continuous process, and it's a restraint of our mind and speech and body, right? When we follow Sila. And not only the Panchashila, right? If we want to progress further, we have to go to 8 Sila, more that intensifies our Samadhi. And then only, and it's a very long journey, right? But it's a one step at a time.
People around the world are celebrating Women's Day, talking about flowers and going to the parties and the club. And we were talking, we are having a session like how to liberate that. And this is the ultimate truth. That's what when I have friends around me and doing this, I look at them and I see, I'm glad I'm not that person. So I got like, no, we have to look for the not the materialistic, but the inner way to liberate ourselves. I have another question from, I think, Sujit. Sujit is, and we're not inviting
Yeah, yeah.
Sujit. I have another question. Yeah.
जय भीम ताई, शीतल ताई, जय भीम, सुजित बोलतोय.
Jai Bhim.
I saw your growth. It's very nice. And I was looking this 5 khandas meditation, and I was doing from a long time, and it's very helpful. And I saw your growth and everything that you share everything. That's very good, and I'm happy to congratulate you that you doing great. And this 5 khandas meditation is very helpful for me also. And if we shared with people and people will understand, then I think we will achieve something. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to say, like, in this whole path, the teacher plays a very important role here. Like right from the Buddha, you have to find the correct teacher, right? So make sure that you are, choosing that correct teacher, because there are so many techniques in the world, right? All are labeled same, like Anapanasati, Vipassana, but we have to choose what Buddha is trying to teach us.
We have another question from Pankaj Meshram.
Thank you, Kalpana, and thank you, Dr. Sheetal, for this talk. I know there was a very short time allocated for you to deliver this, but I wanted you to touch base upon the 3 common characteristics, which is anicca, dukkha, and anatta. And I wanted to see if you would comment on where those 3 would fit into these 16 stages of vipassana.
Yeah. So 16 Vipassana Jnana, right? So the first 2 Jnana, like the 16 Vipassana knowledges, the first we already talked about. The first is a Dukkha Satya Dhamma, that is the first noble truth. And the second is the second noble truth, right? The Pachaya Parigraha Jnana is the second noble truth. Only when you discern with your own direct knowledge is first and second Vipassana knowledges, then and then only you are eligible to practice Vipassana as per Buddha's instructions. So the actual Vipassana starts from the Sammasana knowledge, or the comprehension knowledges. by gaining, like now you have seen materiality and mentality, right? Rupa and Nama, mind and matter. And you know what it is, right? What are the causes? Now you apply that criteria. So what is Vipassana? We already talked about that, right? So what is Vipassana? Vipassana is nothing but seeing anicca, which is impermanence phenomena, dukkha, which is suffering phenomena, and anatta, which is non-self phenomena. So that is the criteria now you have to put for this nama and rupa, mentality and materiality, because that's the common characteristic for both mind and matter. So now what you're doing, like in the whole, from third step onwards until this anuloma jnana, right? You are doing vipassana, and then the magga and phala comes, right? You become arya, right? That you're no more non-arya, normal people now, right? You are so now you are seeing that whole materiality and mentality arising phenomena, how it arises, how it stands for some time, and then it perish away. So when you see that, it's just a momentary, like very rapidly arising, very rapidly perishing away, very rapidly arising. Then it's non-stop, continuous arising. Both matter has the same, mind has the same. So you have to see with that your knowledge, and then you see already have seen the cause, right? Because that's the second vipassana jnana. And progressively you go like, okay, this is arising, this is passing away, this is arising, there is no stop to this phenomena. Even the death is not a stop, right? Because ultimately you get a new 5 aggregates, fresh new 5 aggregate, that's a new existence. And this whole phenomena goes on non-stop until you become arhat, and then this whole process stops after the arhat's parinibbana. So now progressively, and this, if you see here that sammasana jnana, after that, that's arising and perishing away, right? In the udaya jnana, you just see that phenomena of arising and perishing away. Ultimately, that fifth jnana, you are seeing that only that perishing phenomena, which is very, very fearsome to that meditator, right? Because it's very fearful. And then it causes kind of a dangerous situation, like, okay, this is very fearful, this is no man, no woman here, no animal, because not only you have to discern your 5 aggregates, but other person's 5 aggregate as well, even animals 5 aggregates, even the mountain or river, whatever the inanimate things. So you see everywhere the same phenomena, whether you are a living being or inanimate or animate, the same phenomena is going on. That is very dangerous. That meditator feels very fear looking at that, and then he wants to get rid of that disenchantment, and then ultimately he wants to get liberated from that phenomena, and then develops equanimity. I'm just fast forwarding that because Bhante has been teaching us since past 3 years, same thing over and over again. You can look at that YouTube channel and videos, and ultimately that stages come. So vipassana is like progressively you are applying that criteria of anicca, dukkha, anatta through all the stages progressively until your all defilements are gone, which is at that Gotrubhunana that changes the lineage, and that path knowledge comes when you become either Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, or Arhat. And then you review like, okay, how much defilements are gone? That is the 16th knowledge. And how much, if they become Arhat, then all defilements are gone. If they're Sotapanna, there's still some remaining, right? Progressively like that. So that's the criteria you have to put, anicca, dukkha, anatta, for both materiality and mentality.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that answer.
Okay. We have another question from Neeraj. Neerajji, would you like to? Neeraj is there.
Yes, Jai Bhim Shitaltai, Jai Bhim all. My question is about danger knowledge, Adinav Nana. In this stage, Shitaltai, you mentioned there's some inherent dangers and there are drawbacks and unsatisfactoriness of, some of the conditioned phenomena, things that arise and pass away, and not be fearing any external threats, right? Because of the impermanence of these things. I'm wondering, how do you kind of apply that in corporate world and in your knowledge? How do you apply that, and how do you detect that within your sort of circle? It could also be there in your social circle, how are you dealing with it personally, and how do you make sure that we still continue to befriend our fellow beings, and how do you emancipate people from the danger knowledge?
We are talking two very two different things, okay?
Okay,
So
okay,
that knowledge cannot be applied like that way.
okay.
But maybe you can see like this, right? I mean, Vipassana knowledge is totally, we are talking about supramundane here, right? That knowledge, that Vipassana knowledge. But like in day-to-day things, we can see like that. Okay, I'm also a component. When I am calling myself a human being, or let's say Sheetal, I'm nothing but a 5 aggregate, right? There's nothing else, right?
Yep.
And if you are a Neeraj, I mean, that is just a conventionally we are calling Sheetal, Neeraj, whoever, right? Or even a cat or dog. But when we are applying that, okay, this is nothing but they're all 5 aggregate, right? So, and we are because of some causes, right? In the past existence, we had that tanha craving, right? And because of that, this 5 aggregate arise. And not only whatever I'm doing right now, because I'm continuously generating that craving, right? I have ignorance. So because of this present causes will give a future effect as grudge against you, or somebody is doing unwholesome thing in the corporate world. And then you have to see that way, right? Okay, this person is nothing but, although I'm saying this is a person, but ultimate reality, nothing exists, right? That he is also a 5 aggregate. I'm also 5 aggregate. And the Kamma is the only property we have, right? Doesn't matter we are a millionaire, billionaire, or a beggar. Kamma is the only property is going to go forward, right? In the next existence and several future million, billion existence to come, right? Until we achieve the complete liberation. So we have to see that way, like, okay, whatever, if this person is doing unwholesome thing, he's his own, that's going to be his own property. If I'm doing some wholesome thing, that's my own property. So although because we are not to that level, so ultimately because we have so many defilements, so the unwholesomeness will come, some hatred will come, but jealousy will come, something will come, because until we reach to that perfect level where nothing will arise the defilement. But this meditation helps, right? When we think to that level, that anger or hatred reduces to some extent. And that's the practical thing I'm telling, right? I'm also working in a corporate world now. So that's the day-to-day challenge we have to do, of course, in home also, right? When our kids do something bad, we always raise our voice, hatred generates. But then we ultimately, because if we were doing like 100% previously, now progressively we are working on this path, then we came to know after a few minutes, okay, what I'm doing, why? Because that's just gonna give me more unwholesomeness. So somehow that reduces. It's not gonna eliminate until we reach to that level.
Very insightful and very honest from your own practical experiences. This helps a ton. Thank you so much.
Okay. There is 2 more questions. We have a time constraint. Okay.
Sheetal Tai, Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya. So my question is, actually I was visiting Denver and I happened to meet Pankaj Dada. You guys were going to Sri Lanka in a forest monastery. I just wanted to know your experience. How was it? And second, I have been practicing meditation for a very long time. It's been almost like 3 years now. And I know about the 8 jhanas. So I'm learning more about jhanas. And is there anybody who can share their experience? If they have experience in jhana, it would be very helpful for me. And third is, if you can share this presentation for our own learning, that would be really helpful.
That experience was totally out of the world. We were in forest monastery with all the monks and all the lay persons providing us food and all that. So it was totally different experience for us. And so it would be like a whole different half an hour or at least 1 hour to tell you like what we did. But the people there, they have so much saddha, or very simple, very poor, but whatever they earned, they were bringing that food to that monastery, which was like at a mountain. At 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., the breakfast was ready. Monastery was like about at least 4-5 kilometers from that main village, but the monastery on the top of mountain, at least 150 stairs to get to the level Dana hall. People were bringing food at a.m. ready for the breakfast, and again at 10:30 a.m. They're very poor and bringing all the delicacy. I got to know that they might have, for that one meal, they might have worked for 30 days to provide that one meal to all the monastics. So that level of dedication, because you don't know, this is the level of saddha you have to have, right? That is Buddha's teaching. So we lived there, we saw there what is takes to be a true Buddhist, and you have to, experience that. It's just not, if I'm telling you, it's a different thing. You have to experience that. Look at that, the Chaitya we visited, the level of devotion they are doing. It's like in trucks they were loading the flowers and all the incense and the dhupa and all that, venerating that dhatu puja they are doing. Remove that flowers and the food offerings in trucks at periodically, and that's the level of devotion these people are doing every single day. So that was like an eye opener for me. Everyone should visit at least once in their lifetime to Sri Lanka. Second thing is that you said jhana, right? So there are several, there are several students in this meeting itself who are practicing under guidance of Bhante Vimalavansa, and they already achieved jhana. So if you are interested, this is, we have the teacher, right? This whole path, we cannot move forward without the guidance of the teacher. And it's not like one thing, if someone tells you and then you are done and achieve jhana and that's it. No, it's a continuous journey. So you have to take guidance from a proper teacher. I'm not a teacher, right? We have our teacher Bhante Vimalavansa, who is always available, very compassionate. He's just a phone call away, text away, and he continuously, there are several students here who can tell you like how Bhante is very eager to teach you. And you have to put your efforts. You have to put your efforts, right? And strive hard. And those students who have practiced, they achieve jhana within 2 months. Some achieved even fourth jhana within 2 months. Some achieved it's like examples of like several jhanas. In the monastery, we have seen some practitioners. We achieved different objects, like just not one object. They did an anapansati, they took another object, they achieved that jhana, move forward. So that is the level. It all depends on how much parami you have and how much ready you are there to put your effort. So it's a combination of both, right? So I'll put my number here in the chat so that you can contact me, and I'll get you connected with Bhante Vimalavansa, and then you can talk to him and get your kammatthana, get it proper, because this is very systematic way you have to go. This is no haphazard way. Everything has to be very systematic according to Buddha's instructions. And then what was the third question?
If you can share the presentation.
Okay. Sure. This has been recorded, right? This live meeting has been going on the YouTube. So you can get that. And if you want just the slides, if you are talking about, so if you connect me with WhatsApp, I can share that slides with you. But other thing I want to say, because as I said, this is very superficial presentation. I omitted so many details today because of the time constraints, right? Bhante has been guiding us, Bhante Vimalavansa has been guiding us for 3.5 years now. Only Mahasatipatthana Sutta has been teaching 1.5 year. So go through that website or YouTube, look at the level of depth he's telling you, right? Because there's so many Mahasatipatthana Sutta there, but if you're not practicing according to Buddha's way, artha sa anartha hoto hai, right? And you are just taking whatever as per they are doing translation, if they don't have the backup of the real practice. So what I'm stressing that if you read theory, that will give you more strength to your practice. And if you practice, then theory will make sense.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, a quick question. Yes.
Yes, I'll try to briefly summarize. Thank you for inviting me here. And my question is that I'm very new to meditation and all. Like, I have been struggling with meditations since last 5 years, and I find peace in doing cardio activities like running or cycling. And it has been a great experience. Mentally, I find exercising personally to be more fruitful than meditating. For me, like, it is very difficult to sit at one place. I like to keep moving. So is it a good approach, or still, in your opinion, meditation is a good way to build mindfulness? Yes.
So we are again going back to the same thing, right? What is your goal? That's you have to ask yourself, right? What is my goal? Is my goal is just on the mundane level, to feel good, and because everybody is taking it's nowadays mindfulness is very popular world everywhere, right? In the corporate world, you hear all the time that mindfulness. But what's that goal? What is the goal of that mindfulness, right? Reducing stress in your day-to-day life, in your office, in your family, and whatnot, right? But I mean, which is not bad, right? Which is okay. That is the mundane goal. But as a Buddhist or as any human being, right? Because people do label themselves as a Buddhist, or I'm a born Buddhist. No knowledge, like what does it means, right? Like I was doing as a growing up person, right? So you have to ask yourself, like, what is my goal? It's okay to have, um, do some exercise and all that to achieve my healthy body, but healthy mind, like, okay, mundane level mindfulness is okay. But if the supramundane is the goal, is supramundane to get to nibbana, which everybody should achieve, because whatever money or success or name and fame you gonna achieve, that's gonna end. It's not long lasting, right? Whatever you do, but if we do the wholesome deeds, if we do the meditation, that's not going to be wasted. It's definitely going to somehow be with you, regardless wherever you go from this existence to that existence, and ultimately get you to the Nibbana. So I would say just ask yourself what's your goal, and depending on that, find the best approach for you. I mean, we are here to help you. We are here to facilitate that. But yeah, you have to think yourself.
Yes, ma'am. And one more core question is that, like, while growing up, my parents are Ambedkarite Buddhists, but I never felt conscious about it. I think I was always participating in whatever activities or rituals, but I never felt conscious as a Buddhist. I still today I feel like I'm an atheist. So, at what time should I actually start seriously considering that maybe if I actually should try Buddhism or not? Because spiritually, I feel very empty. That I wanted to ask.
This is the time. This is the time, right? We never know when death will come, right? We don't have any friendship with death. That's what Buddha says, right? So we never know when our time will come. So this is the time. This is the time.
Sheetal ma'am and Dr. Sheetal ma'am, and very insightful and enlightened session. It from Samuchi Satya, Paramatta Satya, and all you covered Kasin and 16 dhans. So my question is, in Satyanarayan Goenkaji's Vipassana Center, we are seeing only Vednanupassana. So what is Satyanarayan Goenkaji's traditions, meditation strategy or technique to get pradnya from this? Because many people in India doing this vipassana, but they are attaching only like in sensations or in संवेदना के खेल न खेले अशा in 10 days vipassana center we are listening, but in the context with 16 types of vipassana dhyan, so how we differentiate and to get more knowledge, because it's a very deep. So because as available in institute only 10 days vipassana we are doing, but it's too much you explain like 16 prakarcha vipassana. So how we differentiate from Satyanarayan Goenka traditions and this to get more knowledge regarding vipassana?
Yeah, I want to just give a brief answer, because Bante has been, took a very, very long sessions on this, explaining what is the path. Um, so if you can see here, there's Nama and Rupa. Reality aggregate is different and mentality aggregate is different, right? Totally different thing, two different entity, Nama and Rupa. So there are, like in human beings, we have all the 5 aggregates, but in some, they're in some existence, as you know, I know you hear a lot of Dhamma, so you might have heard, like there are some existence where only Rupa exists. There are some existence where only mentality exists, only Nama, right? But if you categorize this 5 Khanda, you can see there's a Vedana is a part of Nama, right? It's not a part of Rupa. That makes very clear, right? It's a first basic thing you have to understand. Nama Khanda is totally different. Vedana is a part of mind, not Rupa, not matter. So if you want to see that Vedana, you have to see in mind, not in the body. Is it very hard to understand this? No, right? But so what we have to see in that practice, we have to see Rupa in Rupa, like matter in matter, and mind in mind. So mind is different, matter is different, and chitta, like when we do chittanupasana, we have to see that chitta process. When we are doing vedananupasana, we have to see that vedana. Vedana is a chetasika, right? Okay. So that is not on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
that is not on the matter, that is on the chitta viti, that process. So you will have to see that. So Bhante has explained this in very details because it takes like hours and hours of discussion. So I will, if you are in the group, I keep sending all those videos again and again, right? Because I know this question arises. So Bhante has explained that whenever there's a pain, when you say that my knee had a pain, how that whole process arises, and where you have to see that Vedana, not on your body, you have to see that in mind. Buddha has specifically given instructions where you have to see your mind, where you have to see your Rupa. So that is the proper way you have to go. So I would say, go through that videos, understand that process. If you have questions, come to session, ask Bhante. Maybe you have to hear again and again, maybe 10 times, maybe 20 times, because this is not easy, right? This is not if you have the background of Abhidhamma, things make little clear. But you have to actually see in practice, and then only things will make much more sense. Okay.
Sadhu. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And we have a last question for session. That I am very inconsistent. I could not go in a regular manner. So, how to maintain the consistency? So, this is my question, and how to overcome the distractions. Because in this material world, with family and office, it's really very difficult to manage the time and work in a consistent manner.
Householders, we have balancing both work and family. So that challenge is gonna be there all the time until we die, right? Because we are not giving up, right? We're not giving up our householder life. So you have to find the best thing for yourself. I mean, you have to think about your priority. What is your priority? Right? Buddha gives a simile, right? If your head is burning with fire, what you will do? Will you say that, okay, let me take my office call now or talk to my son or daughter? No, you will first find out the water to, put that fire down. Similarly, Buddha gives that is the level of urgency you have to think when you have to realize Nibbana, because again, we don't know when the next moment we're going to be dead, right? So we have to find that priority. Once we decide that what is a priority, then automatically everything changes. And this is experience from my personal own, right? I was I'm a practicing multiple locations, right? Learning Dhamma also there, right? That comes also in day-to-day life. Taking care of family, your kids, everything. Taking care of your parents. I mean, that's the responsibility. We are not giving up. We still want to enjoy as a householder life, right? So,
Yes.
so that's our craving, right? So now you have to think about your priority and fit that timing to do meditation.
I got your point, and I will rectify myself, and I will communicate with you for further discussions.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.